How did I do this with two people?
Hey, hi, it's Kit.
Hi, I'm KatyPerry.
Or Leah. Both work. So, today we're doing a video finally about a topic instead of just me ranting about my changes. I'll do one of those later on so you can hear my voice a little more clearly. However, for today, we'll be talking about being a trans-considerate friend, or just an ally in general for the trans community. So, first couple things that we're going to roll right into are, this is a hard process for me. This is a hard process probably for any friend that you have who's going through this. So, if you notice a change, that it's physical, mental, not putting tea on me, that's not the place for that. You should say something about it. You should definitely say something about it. So, when we're, yeah. So, for example, Leah would say,
I wasn't listening.
okay, so we're talking about complimenting or noticing changes.
Oh yes, I would tell Kit that he looks very handsome today. Or, if I was to say anything about his changes, I would tell him that his voice sounds great and it's deeper, or his shoulders are more masculine, or his hair looks good.
Thank you. All the things. This is good. You're frowning.
Yes!
Okay, yes! Alright, so, two important things. One that she just did there. Not always will you see a change, so not always you have to point those things out. It gets really obvious and kind of weakens it down some. So sometimes you can just be a nice person. Being nice is nice. Be nice to the nice is nice to be nice to the nice. So saying I'm handsome, that's lovely. Everybody likes to hear that. You are very handsome.
And if you're trans, you could also say to your non-trans friends that they're handsome too.
That's cool too.
Because we like to feel good sometimes.
That's true.
As well.
Okay, so be good people is the motto of that one. Also, but though really, with the changes themselves, if you see something happen, point it out in a way that's a positive, kind of like, hey, it's happening, because I'm not going to always catch them, and it's great to hear that from an outside source. Alright, so be aware of other trans-related issues going on in the world. It may not pertain to me, it probably does at some point. Like in Florida, we just had this ridiculous bill passed, or it didn't pass, but it was on the ballot for a while, about having your state license, your birth certificate actually had to match the bathroom they were using. Fortunately, it got turned down, but some of the reasons that happened was because there was enough awareness of how crappy that would be for the trans community. So be an ally in the voting booth as well. That makes a big difference. Side petitions. We need the counts. We literally just need you as a person who can fill out a ballot to handle that. So that's important. Support, respect, accept your friend. That's great. Questions. If you have questions about what I'm going through, you probably do because you're my friend, and that's great. Just ask yourself them first before you ask me questions. Even if you're not my friend and you're just a person asking another person questions, ask yourself first, is this an appropriate question? If I don't think that it is, Google it, because there's a thing for that. You can just Google it. Yes, Leah. KatyPerry.
Do you have a penis?
Inappropriate question. Great. What would you like to know? Good. You can Google whether I have a penis. Other ones are, when are you getting the surgery? That's a question you don't need to ask a trans person. That person might not only not be considering getting surgery, however, that is none of your damn business, so stay out of it. When are you straight or are you gay?
But seriously, because...
No, but seriously, now if you're asking that because you want to get with me, that's different. I'll probably find a better way to ask, not just, but that's not why you're asking.
Hey there, sexy.
You didn't calm down. So, are you straight or gay? Gender and your sexuality, two different things. If you need to know that, that's probably not for you to need to know. Can you have sex? Well,
I can.
I can too. It's great. You don't need to ask that. How do you pee? Other answers that you don't need to have from that friend.
Through my urethra.
Ooh, good job. You knew the word. So, just be aware that like stress is going to be higher, and I don't need those kind of questions, nor should you be asking them in the first place. However, in the public sphere, you'll probably be getting some of those questions from other assholes, in which case you need to be at least aware that you're stepping into the role as my first line of defense with those assholes. So when you're hearing transphobic things, like people saying, misusing my name and calling me by my birth name, or using the wrong pronouns, you can step in at any point and say,
it's Kit.
Good. He's great. She's considering that. She's not sure. That's true. Step in for me. If you're hearing transphobic things like, oh, how's that he, she doing? Or what is that? Who is that? Or whatever. If you're hearing those...
Kit.
Or even he's Kit. I'm not an object. It's just that's Kit. So when you're hearing those things, if you are, and you're hearing jokes being made about trans people, if you're able to, and you should be because you have a voice, assuming that you can actually speak, and if you can, then say something about it. And if you have to sign it, awesome, sign something about it. If you're in a community where you have a voice of any kind, make sure you're making the steps to defend people who aren't having a voice at that time. You can do that very easily by either, you're just dancing, by just walking, like, hey, that's not okay to say. You don't have to stoop down to the level, you don't have to try and say what a bad person they are. You can just say, hey, what you're saying right now is offensive, don't say that, please. It's a really effective way. Or if they're making a joke, don't laugh and say, hey, you know that's not funny, because people need to be funny and think that they're funny when they're saying things that really aren't.
In the words of Lauren, shut it down.
Shut it down! Alright, so shut it down for us. Thank you. Alright, so if you are aware of my story, you're in my life, don't assume that I want other people to be aware of my story and the fact that I'm trans. I'm not fully stealth, however I am in a lot of spheres. Whoever you're interacting with probably doesn't need that information out there on the ready. It's not really your story to share. So, 2 ways to do that. 1, when I'm coming into a situation, you do not need to preface my gender identity before I even get there. For example,
He's a was a she.
None of this stuff. None of the Kit, and we call him Kit because he wants us to. None of that shit. You don't need to. I don't need them being aware of that when I walk into a situation. I might not be passing 100% of the time, however, you can help me pass. And one of the ways you do that is to throw my pronoun into that without my trans story. So, for example,
hey guys, my friend Kit's coming. He's great. He's a photographer. He works at Disney. He has a face.
I have this face. So, those are great ways. That really helps me out. It's going to make it not something that people are checking into right when they meet me the first time. First impressions really do matter, and if you've already set that up for me before I get there, I'm screwed. So don't do it. Assuming with that as well, if people are asking inappropriate questions, and that can be just about my gender, things that people don't need to be talking about when I'm not there, you can do 2 things with that. One thing would be to...
I'm not paying attention again.
That's okay, we're both ADHD. So, I lost my track as well. Where are we talking about? No. Oh, right. Okay. One way would be just to say, hey, go talk to Kit about it. So if somebody's asking them questions about my... Yes! That thing! If someone's asking questions about my gender, you can make it pretty easy by going like, talk to Kit. If you have questions, you can always ask that person. That's helpful. Or you can just say...
just be like, what are you talking about? It's a boy.
More helpful. Do that. That's
He's
great.
a boy, not it. Sorry.
Even better. See, now she corrected herself. So what you'll notice is another great way to be helpful and a trans-considerate person is use my pronouns. If you don't get it right 100% of the time, that's okay. I'll still be your friend. However, doing exactly what she just did. Only sometimes will I be your friend. Not on Tuesdays. So, actually Tuesdays are our friend days. Today is not even any of those days. So,
okay, we're good today.
when you mispronoun me, you can say a sorry if we're in like this, we're doing it's just us. So saying sorry to me, that's fine, but you do not need to make a big deal out of it. For example,
sorry.
Yeah, you don't have to make, if you make it more than
Do you hate me?
Yeah, that. Any more than like a 3-second thing, other people will probably notice, but something you can do much quicker is if I say, for example, he over here, she, and you just keep going right off the bat, that's going to be a much smoother transition, to people using my pronouns correctly.
Oh, I get it.
Ah,
Yay.
yay.
That was only like a 2-second delay.
That was only 2 seconds. We're counting now. So, there are other things about being a respectful person. There are other ways, always, to be a better ally. You can figure that out with your friend by asking them and having open dialogue going on about what they need from you. And it's always appropriate to be like, hey, is there anything I can help out with? Is there any way I can support you in this? That's really, really helpful. Lastly, if I'm part of your story and there's something you're struggling with and you're watching this because you're trying to be supportive, thank you so much. Just remember to try and be respectful of me while you're talking about me, even when I'm not there. So if I am your cousin, which is gender neutral, so that's helpful, or I was your sister, or now am your sibling or your brother, as you're processing this, it is really helpful to know that you're trying to include my decision in that. So if you want to use sibling instead, before you use brother, that's fine. but you don't need to continue to refer to me by my birth name if I've asked you not to. And you definitely want to try using the pronouns if I've asked you to use those pronouns in your conversations with other people, because it's going to help out those people, it's going to help you when you're interacting with me, and overall I would say that saves the world. That's a lot. That saves your hairdo. Alright, so I think that's it for today's topic. I don't know what that is. That's it for today's topic. She's purring. Katy Perry is purring.
Katy Perry.
Katy
Perry.
We're gonna go now. If you have any questions, or if you think of any great ways to also be a trans ally, you can always reach out. And I will do an update video in the future. She's gonna turn up Katy Perry now, and I'm gonna go. Okay, bye.
There must be